Why did I leave traditional law to become a heart-leading health and wellness lawyer? Let's find out together in this week's episode. Hey there, I'm so happy that you're joining me for this episode. My name is Cory Sterling. I'm the host of the Conscious Counsel podcast and a lawyer. And my promise in every episode that I record is to help give you information to protect and grow your wellness business with both confidence and clarity. In this week's episode, I'm going to share a little bit about myself and my journey as a lawyer, and specifically why I chose to work with health and wellness professionals and why it's something that's so important to me to support this particular industry and these types of people. And the starting point for all of this is just to know what traditional law looks like. Holy smokes. I just gotta calm down a little bit because I could definitely go into an elongated rant about my experiences in traditional law. But for the intents and purposes of helping you protect and grow your wellness business, I want to explain to you the benefits of working with a lawyer who cares, who makes the process fun, and also who understands the particular industries that you're in. And the starting point has to be how bad traditional law is. So I was a lawyer for 2 years. I spent 1 year in a big law firm. I worked for a law firm that at the time was the biggest law firm in the world. I wore a suit and tie every day, which doesn't really matter what clothes you're wearing, although I do love living barefoot and ideally without a shirt. Those who have worked with me and had sales calls with me where I'm not wearing a shirt, you know what I'm talking about. But the clothes don't really matter, but the attitude does matter. And what was so interesting for me in my year working at a big corporate law firm was two things. One was the severe disconnect between the lawyers and the clients, which I was never able to get over and I was never able to understand. But secondly, just like what a toxic working environment looks like, and an environment that encourages people to put their job before their lives, and one that promotes imbalance and long work hours and working on weekends, and an expectation that unless you're in the office for an obscene number of hours, you're not doing a good job, which is in complete misalignment with me, an individual who loves life, who loves playing sports, who loves being active, who loves balance. And then in my second year of being a lawyer and working in law, the biggest realization I had was that clients didn't really like their lawyer or enjoy working with lawyers. And the craziest thing that I'll remember, one of the first projects I got when I was working at a small law firm, I got an Excel spreadsheet that was like 5 pages long. And it was my job to go through this Excel spreadsheet and call clients who owed the law firm money and try to request payments. I guess collections would be the term. And this actually taught me more than anything else about why I wanted to leave traditional law and why I wanted to create my own law firm. And that's because I would pick up the phone. I'd be like, hey, this is Cory Sterling calling from law firm ABC. I see that you're in arrears owing us this amount. Can you make some of the payment today? And just every person I spoke to was frustrated, was annoyed, felt disenfranchised by working with lawyers. They felt taken advantage of. They were very, very upset with the situation. And I'm like, I'm the new guy. I just got in here. I don't know what's going on. But that experience really opened my eyes and firstly inspired me to create a law firm where I could love my clients and they could love me. And also create a different way of offering legal services where people would feel respected and not feel taken advantage of, which was really, really important to me. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of really positive things that I experienced and learned at the two law firms where I worked. They made me a professional. The big law firm taught me about professionalism and attention to detail and how to be a really good lawyer. And the smaller law firm I worked at taught me everything about creativity and marketing and how to run a small business. So I'm very, very lucky for the experiences that I had. And it also is worth saying and worth mentioning that I was very, very close to not being a lawyer and just having had such challenging and poor experiences as a lawyer that I was like, this is not me. I love people. I love connecting with people. I love supporting people. And I met with one of my mentors, and the power of someone believing in you goes such a long way. And I was very, very lucky that I had a mentor who said to me, Cory, you're smart enough and you're a good enough lawyer that you should just design and create a law firm that is exactly what you think the world needs. And what he said to me was amazing advice. And he said, Cory, be the lawyer who you would want to work with. And at the time, it was easy because I was teaching group fitness classes. I was really involved in the health and wellness scene. I was organizing a yoga festival at that point in my life. And I was just like, okay, cool. If I had to work with a lawyer, what would that look like? And for me, the things that came up were firstly fun. There's a magnet that was in my mom's car that I looked at in Carpool. Do you guys remember Carpool? I hated Carpool. I'm like, why are other people here? What are we doing? Why can't I just get home as quickly as possible so I can play sports or do whatever it is that I wanted to do? But the magnet in my mom's car said, if it's not fun, why do it? And I was just like, okay, I guess this is pretty formative and influential for me. And I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. It was never something, I never grew up and was like, oh, I'm going to have my own business and travel the world and do what I want. Never, that never came up. But as my mentor inspired me and told me, like, hey, be the lawyer who you want to work with, the first thing that came up for me was like, it has to be fun. And so that's the first tenet. The second thing is it has to be easy and it has to be light. And again, all of this is rooted and built on the experiences that I had working with a big law firm and a small law firm. And just like, it wasn't light and it wasn't easy. And I just saw how difficult law firms can make things for clients to do. And even now, when I have to work with lawyers, because sometimes I do things that I have to work with lawyers, I just see the traditional way where it gets done. And I'm like, this sucks. And I also know how important law is. And I know how important it is to be legally protected. And I know that people have such an aversion to lawyers and working with lawyers and the legal process that I was like, cool, if I'm going to tell people that this is fun, it has to be light and it has to be easy. So how can I make things as light and easy for people as possible so that, okay, cool, I get that you really don't feel like doing this, but let's make the process super fun. And over years, we've developed an award-winning system. And we have 445 five-star Google reviews. I'm sure when this episode comes out, we're going to be at 450 already. But just like constantly get better. In the first 2 years of my law practice, all I did was speak to my clients. And I'm like, how can it be better? How can it be better? What was challenging about it? How can we make things simpler and easy for you? And sometimes even now, like I'll get on with a client who's like, oh, like they're sort of complaining about this. I'm like, do you realize we just drafted an amazing agreement for you, in 3 days that normally would take 2 months and a lawyer wouldn't return your phone calls or emails. Like, I think that the standards have gotten higher and that's good and they should be. And I always want to be better. But I think a lot of the times people don't know what it's like working with a traditional law firm and how bad it is and how long it takes. In addition to fun and light and ease, which are really, really important words for me in my life, the real reason why I left traditional law is because traditional law does not care about health and wellness professionals. And I'll say it. And I'll say it because I know that it's true. And my whole legal practice really started when I was working at these law firms. And at the same time, I was going to One Yoga in Vancouver, British Columbia, and hanging out with yogis and getting really, really into that community, and also teaching spinning classes or group fitness classes at Y Yoga or at Equinox, and just realizing like these are really cool people who, like, I saw how much my clients loved coming to my classes, my spinning clients or my group fitness class clients. And then I thought of all of my coworkers who are at these studios. I'm like, these people are amazing and they inspire and get people healthier and work with them. And also these health and wellness professionals, like they don't understand anything about the law and nobody cares about them. There's no lawyer who's standing on a pedestal letting yoga teachers know that they need waivers of liability. And there's no lawyer who's telling Pilates teachers that they need to protect their teacher training manuals by registering it for copyright and including licensing agreements. Like no one's doing that. And for me, it's been a personal mission, and it still is every day. Today, I'm going to open my email. I'm going to support clients who are doing amazing things, and I'm going to make sure that all of the hard work that they're putting into their business means that they're protected and they have confidence and they have clarity to navigate their business. And that's something that's really, really important for me. And it's also something I noticed that big law and law in general just did not care. No one was paying attention to these people, and these people are my people because I was one of them. I'm a yoga teacher, I'm a Pilates instructor, I did a health coaching course, I've run retreats, I ran a yoga festival. I know how important this work is, and I know how many people can be positively influenced by the work that's being done. And that's why I've taken on this mission to work with health and wellness professionals and be a lawyer for them, and also not practice traditional law and to do it in a fun and easy and light way. And what I always say to myself and what I always say to my team is, if we wanted to be the law firm that made the most money, we would work with mining companies, we would work with big corporations, we would work with pharma. Like, that's just not who I am, and it's not what I'm about. And I've accepted when I started my career that it's definitely possible that I could make a lot more money, but I wouldn't be helping the people who I love and the people who really, really need legal support. And those are people who are making the world a healthier and better place by having studios, having retreats, having courses, offering coaching to make a difference in individuals' lives. And no law firms care about these people. And so that's why I left traditional law. So it's really special for me. I feel very grateful I have a platform like this podcast to be able to share why I do what I do and why my team does what it does and why we care so much. And just to summarize, I left big law because it wasn't fun. Clients did not like working with lawyers. The process was difficult and challenging and heavy and super expensive. And clients, like, that experience of having to call up all these disgruntled clients and try to get them to pay money for the law firm that I was working at, taught me everything about what I wanted to run for my business and the type of lawyer I wanted to be. And the type of lawyer who I want to be is someone that my clients feel overly satisfied having worked with, who they feel connected to and that they could call at any moment for support, and that who they know is doing a competent and professional job to helping them support them in their business. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. At any point, if you want to connect, just hit us up on Instagram at Conscious Counsel. And I look forward to connecting with you. And I hope that you enjoyed this episode.